Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to Let's Teach with Dr. S. This is Dr. Sarah Namoko and I am your partner in your teaching practice. Welcome to Browsing the 21st Century Teaching Methodologies. Perhaps all of you have already seen this figure and most of you have known about this, but still it pays to review what this P21 framework is it's all about. It is called P21 because it is a collaboration, a partnership of many stakeholders who are interested and who love teaching, and they conceptualize the idea of interdependency of these skills of our young learners. We have learned nga moabot ang time nga daghan kaayo ang mga trabaho nga mawala na because of robotics, because of artificial intelligences. But according to scholars, one thing that AIs, artificial intelligences and robotics cannot replace are the soft skills. Bisan pag-unsaon sa mga engineers, sa mga scientists, pag-design og robotics and artificial intelligences, dili gyud mapulihan ang mga soft skills. And these are the skills that we want to develop within our students. No? Of course, among us and within our students. The P21 framework for 21st century learning is categorized into 3 skills. Although each of these skills are categorized distinctly, but let us remember that together, these 3 distinct categories should be interrelated and interconnected as we teach our students to develop this skill. First of the 21st century skills are referring to learning and innovation skills, which talks about the development of the critical thinking skills of our students, their creativity and innovation, their collaboration skills, and their communication skills. Next is the life and career skills, which refers to the flexibility, leadership, initiative, productivity, and social skills of our students. And the last category is about information media and technology skills, which involves information media and technology skills or mastery of these different skills. Now, as teachers, how are we going to do that? Let us look into the details of the Partnership 21 framework for 21st century. The P21 framework has different domains that we have to look into as we integrate the different disciplines of learning. First is the goal. What is the goal of the P21 framework? Its goal is focusing on the development of the skills, knowledge, and expertise of the students that they must master to succeed in work and in life. Dili lang aron nga makapasar sila sa atong klase or dili lang aron makapasar sa college, but that they should be able to thrive in the demands, in the complexity of the demands of the 21st century. Dapat andam sila. And then, while the framework aims to develop these skills within the students, it also provides the teachers with the support so that the teacher is enabled and empowered to teach those skills. Because the framework focuses on the interconnectedness of the different disciplines of learning, and it also emphasizes for deeper learning. The P21 framework is anchored on the belief that children needs the proper opportunities and avenues to gain these skills for career. And they can learn this when we integrate the different disciplines of learning. So we have the English and Filipino, math, sciences, and other social sciences subjects. No? Katong araling panlipunan, MAPE, TLE, values education, kinahanglan, they should be integrated together so that we develop the students as a whole by engaging the students in activities that promote creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. Okay, I remember one time, inay anecdote, ang tao daw nangay daw kung siya nga mubo may gyud kay ko patience, saan man ako nga ma-develop na ko ang akong patience within myself. So nagampo siya, Lord, please hatagi ko og patience right now. No? So, well, abi sa tao og kung i-pray niya, ihatag sa Ginoo. Well, indeed, God answered his prayers. Sa unsang paagi, gihatagan siya sa Ginoo og daghan kay nga trials, daghan kay nga problema, daghan nga mean people around him within the work and even in his family. Why? You cannot teach communication skills, you cannot teach critical thinking skills by writing them on the blackboard. You teach these skills by engaging the students in meaningful activities. As such, the students will develop these skills. In the same way, katong tao aron ma-exercise na iyang patience, gihatagan siya daghang pagsulay, daghang mga tao nga panuway aron nga ma-exercise niya iyang patience. Okay? How about the instructional approach in the P21 framework? Instructional approach in this framework is directed both within the classroom and out of the classroom activities. Therefore, kanang atong mga estudyante, let them go, let them play, let them explore the world. Let them explore the real learning experiences. In order to achieve this, the teachers need the support systems such as guidelines for assessment, professional development, and learning environments so that they are prepared to work within the P21 framework. Therefore, dili lang di ay ang mga teachers ang involved ani, but also the administrators. Administrators, curriculum developers, policymakers, it is in your hands to design these guidelines for the teachers so that they can create a meaningful and engaging learning activities for the students and subsequently will make the students learn these 21st century learning skills. For the methods of assessment or the standards and assessments in the P21 framework, the focus is on the skills associated with 21st century content and also how we measure this content in relation to the 21st century skills that we are aiming at. Okay? This may include inquiry-based learning assessment, project-based assessment, standardized testing, and portfolio development. Later on, we are going to discuss this one by one. And then, for the competency basis, 21 framework includes the core subjects. As I have mentioned earlier, these are the languages, mathematics, science, history, TLE, MAPE, values education. We cannot do away with this. These are all very important skills. These are all very important core content. And take note, friends, that when we teach these subjects, these should not be taught individually and in isolation. Take note that the 21st century focuses on the connectedness of learning with emphasis of deeper, more in-depth learning. So imagine when we as teachers of different subjects, we discuss together, isgutan nato unsaon nato pag integrate ang atong mga lessons aron nga ma-appreciate ni estudyante unsa ang significance sa algebraic expression in farming. Unsaon pag nga ma-appreciate ni estudyante ang mga topic sa chemistry kung mag-adto na sila sa MAPE or sa TLE, no? So they should be able to appreciate these individual subjects as a whole. Because when we integrate these subjects together, kani mga content, core content sa atong mga subjects, when we integrate them, we are actually including or we are actually developing the global awareness of our students, the financial, economic, business, and entrepreneurial literacy, the civic literacy, health literacy, and environmental literacy. When I was a high school student, may ko nga, sa magilabot aning algebra, nganong magilisod-lisod magyud ko aning, nganong pangitaon magyud sa ako ang akong ex. Hugot, no? Nganong pangita, why? No, saan ni siya? Please don't ask me why. Please don't ask me about my ex. Hugot, no? So, nga naman yun ng algebra. I'm sorry, math, but it's really my Waterloo. But the point is, if ma-appreciate sa bata, sa estudyante nato ang connectedness sa mga lessons, then they will understand why they are learning this competence. The competency basis for the P21 framework includes the 3 categories that we have mentioned earlier. One of that is the learning and innovation skills, which includes the development of the creative and innovation skills of our students, the critical thinking and problem-solving skills, collaboration and communication. Again, dili nato ni siya matudlo by writing on the blackboard or by doing a lecture about this. We can teach them by letting our students engage in meaningful and engaging activities, classroom activities, or even modular activities. Later on, we are going to learn how we do that. The next one is the information and media technology skills. Here, we teach our students, we inculcate in our students the skills, the knowledge and skills, how to access, evaluate, use, and manage the information from the internet, and then how they can apply technology effectively into their projects, and how to analyze and create media products. Take note, friends, that it is equally important that our students learn their ethical considerations in using the technology. Dapat mahibalupod sila at which point nga ginabully na sila or gaka-experience na nila ang cyberbullying. So, this and all, dapat nato matudlo sa ato mga estudyante. And finally, the life and career skills. Okay? So, walay pulos tong uban nga skills, tong media literacy, tong critical thinking skills, kung dili nato na sila ma-apply in critical life and career skills. So what are these skills? This involves the flexibility and adaptability, initiative and self-direction, social and cultural skills, productivity and accountability, and leadership and responsibility. So kaning tanan, this encompass the P21 framework that we have to consider when we think of the teaching strategies or teaching methodologies as we teach our students or as we deal with our students, whether this class is through online learning or through modular learning or through face-to-face learning. So, dapat makonsider nato ni silang tanan. Although, dili man necessary nga dapat kanigyod tanan nga components na but at least a combination of 2 or 3 competencies within the activities that we are giving our students. Okay? Take note, while we teach them with the content, while we lecture them with the content, while our module includes the lesson content, the content of our lesson, ang activities nga atong gi-infuse din should be the ones that will encourage the students or should be the activities that will teach the students the 21st century skills. We have mentioned about ICT. So, nganong importante man ang ICT tools in learning? In my dissertation, and I'm sure in your day-to-day experiences, ICT tools help enhance effective learning. How? Of course, when the students Google the information, they acquire the knowledge. When the students are equipped with the skills how to synthesize knowledge, they are able to create knowledge. And then they will collaborate this knowledge with other peers, with their classmates, probably with friends within their classroom, from other schools, or from all over the world. They can collaborate with the development or with the creation of this knowledge, and they are also able to share this knowledge not only with friends, but also around the globe. And this is the beauty of ICT tools in learning. Now, why teaching tools, why ICT tools are beneficial, especially for teachers. These ICT tools helps support innovative teaching methods for the teachers. And then it is also, of course, it is convenient to choose. For example, during this pandemic time, dili ko kahibaluan ng technology niya. Wala po ta kahibaluan ng YouTube, for example. So, unsaon man ako pag-deliver, di ba, it is convenient to deliver my lecture through video. And then, ang inyo po, on your own end po, balag, dili mo makapaminaw on the day of the schedule sa inset, pero pwede ra gyud mabalikan if you are willing to learn. So for example, in my students, sa akong mga students sa research undergrad, or even in my doctoral students, mayon sila nga, ma'am, nakatabang gyud og maayo ang videos nga imong gi-develop because pwede namo balik-balikan kung naay mga concepts nga wala namo nasabtan. You see, ICT tools in learning are very helpful in teaching because it is convenient, no? It gives us convenience, and of course it enhances creative teaching. On the part of the students, it provides students meaningful and engaging learning experiences. It is also an avenue for them to have an open and easy access for communication, and it also allows for authentic assessment of learning. All in all, ICT tools in learning are helpful in equipping our learners for the 21st century skills. The question is, how are we going to use that? Alright, so how do we use ICT tools in our teaching and learning practice? I am going to show you the pedagogy wheel, which was conceptualized by Dr. Alan Carrington. If you can see at the core of the wheel, this is the Bloom's taxonomy of learning. Okay? Meaning to say that before you think of which tools or what activity to use, think of what skills do you want your students to develop. Do you want your students to remember? Or do you want your students to understand? Or do you want your students to be able to apply what they have understood? And then you increase the level of difficulty of learning up to the creating stage. Take note, my dear friends, that our student cannot understand something if they don't remember it. In the same way, our students cannot apply something, cannot apply a concept if they do not understand it. Eventually, the student cannot evaluate, they cannot create something if they cannot analyze, if they cannot apply, if they cannot understand, and if they don't remember. So, meaning to say that we should satisfy first the lower bottom. We satisfy these needs of our students before we can demand them of the higher order thinking skills. And it is a great deal of challenge for us. Now, after you have identified what level of learning you want your students, it is now time to determine what are the action words that you will use in each of these. Say, for example, you want your students to remember something. Now, in your learning objective, you use SMART learning objectives. When you say SMART learning objectives, these are verbs that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and within time frame. Say, for example, you say, at the end of the lesson, the students are expected to know the definition of love. Now, my dear friends, how are we going to evaluate or how are we going to assess whether our students know love? We cannot measure it, right? However, if we say the students are able to define love, we can measure that the student has remembered something because he can define the term. In the same way, if we want our students to understand a concept, then probably we will use the verbs the verbs such as explain, summarize, or translate. And if we want them to apply a concept, then probably we can say the students are able to demonstrate their ability to implement the learned methods and procedures. Now, if we want our students to analyze, then we can use verbs such as differentiate between relevant and irrelevant, determine relationships, and recognize organization of content. All of these activities will involve the brains of the students, the neural activities of our students, to analyze the criteria or analyze the concepts. And if we want our students to evaluate something, then we use words such as judge or critique or review. And if we want them to create something, the verbs that we might use are generate ideas, design plans, or produce something. Okay, of course, these are just reviews of your Bloom's taxonomy, but I tell you, friends, it took me a while to understand the essence of Bloom's taxonomy. While I was in college, higo ra gyud na ko na memorize kaya makapasar ko sa exam. But actually, gamay ra akong nahinumduman, and it was only when I was already teaching that I realized unsa di ay ang remembering, understanding, and blah blah blah. No? So it's good to remind us from time to time about these concepts, about these theories. After you have identified the action verbs that you will use related to the level of learning that you want your students to be equipped with, now it's time to determine the different activities that you want your students to engage in to develop these skills. Okay? And finally, if you have identified the activities, then it's time for you to think about the different ICT tools to use when you teach. Of course, dili ka ini applicable sa tanan nato nga estudyante. Pero, pwede ni magamit sa uban nato nga estudyante. These are the different Web2 tools that we might use, that we might know, kamo basin nahibaluan ninyo, unsaon paggamit, and of course there are thousands others out there. Just explore the internet. Remember, friends, that it is your pedagogy. What you believe is the best method, what you believe is the best strategy for the students to learn. Your pedagogy should be the determining factor for you to identify the different ICT tools that you will use in your teaching and learning activities. Therefore, it is your responsibility to think about how the application might contribute to your set of educational goals for the program or for the subject or for the lesson that you are teaching. Now, to summarize, for example, you want to develop the remembering stage of learning. So the action verbs that you might use are define, recall, identify. And the learning activities that involves ICT tools will be searching or Googling or bookmarking from the internet. So you will use the Google Chrome, or the Twitter, or the Wikipedia. If, for example, you want your students to understand something, therefore the learning objectives, the verbs that you will use in your learning objectives will be explain, translate, or summarize. And your learning activities would be journaling, word processing, and you will use WordPress, Prezi, and Evernote, and some other ICT tools available or ICT applications. If, for example, you want your students to apply their knowledge about a certain concept, then you might use the words play, implement, or simulate in your learning objectives. And the learning activities that you might want your students to do are movie making, mind mapping, and therefore you will use Blackboard, Screencast-O-Matic, or Wise Mapping. If you want your students to analyze, then you might use categorize, deduce, or differentiate. And the activities that will be involved are spreadsheeting or diagramming. Therefore, you will use Padlet or Excel. And if you want your students to evaluate, then the verbs that you use will be critic, conduce, or judge. And the learning activities will be self-evaluation or critiquing. And then you will expose the students to TED Talks, or you will expose them to Edmodo, where you can engage them with this critiquing and judging activities. And finally, if you want your students to create something, then you might use action verbs such as generate ideas, design, produce, and activities will include podcasting, multimedia presentation, and they can use the picture collage, basic creator, movie creator, and whatever tools that are available in the internet. It's just up to you how to use them. Now, take note, friends, that the decision to use the different ICT tools for teaching and learning will always go back to your pedagogy. What is it that you want your students to learn? After having identified the competencies that you want your students to master, then it's time for you to think about the learning activities and the corresponding tools that you might use in teaching these competencies. Now let's go to the different 21st century teaching strategies. I'm sure many of you have learned about blended learning. Karon nga panahon na, at this time, at this pandemic time, many schools and many basic education schools and higher education institutions are employing the blended learning modalities of learning. So when we say blended learning, it is an infusion of face-to-face learning and online learning. Although sa Tablon National, in the case of Tablon National High School, most of our modality is modular, and I understand that. No, it's a bit challenging. But anyway, I believe that the wisdom that you will get from this inset is not only applicable during this pandemic time, but it is also applicable when the schools when the schools will be open for the students to come, probably and hopefully next year. Blended learning is the umbrella for all learning types, which includes the face-to-face and online learning. One of that is the flipped classroom. Nganong gitawag man siya flipped classroom? Because in traditional learning, di ba mag-lecture si maestra sa classroom, and then towards the end of the class, the teacher will say, okay, for your assignment, do this at home. Now, the problem is, kung muuli na o sa balay ang estudyante, who will teach the students at home? Okay lang kung naay nahibaluan si papa o si mama, or naay ate or kuya nga makatudlo, or naay lola o lolo, or uncle o auntie nga makatudlo, or helper nga makatudlo. What if wala? So, for example, in the case of my children, although ang ilang mama kabaluman mo tudlo, but the problem is, ang time ni mama is so hectic, busy kayo si mama, dili halos makatudlo. So, there is also a problem. What about those students whose parents can hardly read or write? To whom will your students go if they need assistance with their assignment? So because of this problem, scholars have conceptualized the flipped learning, wherein the lectures are done at the comfort of the home, no? So ang mga lectures, it can be done online. Pwede niyo ipadala ang modules para basahon ni estudyante, or mag-assignment kag libro ipabasa sa estudyante. And then the assignment, the homework, nga kung sa traditional learning dito sa balay buhaton, ang homework sa estudyante will be done dinha sa atong classroom, wherein naata nga teacher, we are the experts to help our students apply the concepts that they have learned, or we are there in the classroom to help our students understand the concepts that they have read while they are at home, or the concepts nga gibasa sa libro, nga gibasa sa internet, gitan-aw sa YouTube, dito nila nagibuhat sa ilang balay or sa cafeteria, sa canteen, or kung asa na nila gitan-aw, and then they will do the activities dinha sa atong classroom nga naata being the experts of the lesson. In this way, ang lower order thinking skills such as knowledge and comprehension are done at home. Dili kay sila magkinahanglan o guidance from the expert. Alternately, the higher order thinking skills are done and achieved in the class kauban sa expert nga teacher. Okay? So this is the beauty of flipped classroom. Another teaching strategy for the 21st century is the project-based learning. In this way, we are encouraging our students to engage in activities that will develop their communication skills, their critical thinking skills, their collaboration skills, and their innovativeness, their skills to solve a problem. An example is this: student farming. When you let your students do student farming, the students will actually learn lessons about science, social studies, math, and economics through planting their own organic farm. When you do project-based learning, example, ikaw si science teacher, you coordinate with social studies teacher, math teacher, and economics teacher. TLE teacher ba kaha? And then you discuss among yourselves unsa kaha ang ato ipag-project sa atong estudyante. Aron nga ang lessons nga iyang natun-an sa atong tanan, say for example 5 ka teachers. So ang lessons nga iyang natun-an sa atong tanan iyang ma-integrate into one big project. So once you have agreed that among yourselves, kamo nga mga teachers, kita nga mga teachers, the students will now do the following. So they will do research about the crop that they want to plant, and then they will figure out how to take care of the plant. What are the things that they will need to take care of the plant? And then they will also use a budget to determine what materials they must purchase. So after they have figured out the different perspectives in this project, nakatanom na sila, naalagaan nila sakto kay ila tong gi-research, and then pag-abot sa time naka-harvest sila, then ilang halin pwede nila bahin-bahinon, pwede po nimo sila i-encourage to contribute that to a cause or to a fundraising activity. Diba, bongga? So, sa may imong gihimo, wala na ka nagtudlo unsa nga klase nga crops. Wala na ka nagtudlo unsa nga materials ang gamiton. You did not teach them unsaon pag-plow. You did not teach them how to, wala na ka nagsulat-sulat sa Bitay Max, no? How to take care of the plants. Kay imo silang gi-empower. You empower them to learn these concepts on their own. And then, sila na ang nag-create sa ilang learning, sila ang nag-discover sa ilang knowledge. And they are the ones who implemented this knowledge into actual project. Diba, unsa man ang imong role karon? You have become the guide on their side and not the sage on the stage. Diba, bongga? Of course, you are there to guide. For example, na sila mga questions, you can answer their questions. But then again, sila ang nakadiscover, sila ang nakatuon sa knowledge, and sila pod ang nag-implement, and sila ang naka-harvest sa ilang natunan. Another teaching strategy is the inquiry-based learning. Now, remember the old Chinese proverbs? It says, "Tell me and I will forget. Show me and I will remember. Involve me and I will understand." Now, in the inquiry-based learning, the students are encouraged to investigate, to record, to discover, to think of innovative ways, to try, to reflect, and to be curious about the things around them. In this way, you are actually engaging their creativity, their critical thinking skills, aron nga mas ma-equip sila for the complex demands of the 21st century. So an example is here. Na-observe nato no nga polluted na gyud kay ato environment, and you want your students to find a solution to this pollution. So in small groups, by the way, when I say small groups, by practice, dili kay ko ga encourage og 5 or more, no? Kung mahimo less than 5 students, kay sure ko kanang 5 ka estudyante ang usa or duha ana, kay kuan ra gyud siya mga kapwa, mga dowlimps, and we don't want that because we want everybody in the small group to be involved in the activities. So how do we do that? We let the students review the information about pollution, and then we will require them to create a unique approach how to manage or to eliminate a certain type of pollution. So, imo silang hatagan og guidelines, hatagan nato sila og learning objectives, hatagan nato sila sa rubrics. By the way, we give the rubrics at the start of the activity. We don't give the rubrics towards the end of the activity. Nganuman, aron nga kahibalo si estudyante unsa ang imong i-expect from them, and then matingalan na lang tano. Yeah, we will be amazed with how the students can surpass our expectations. So it will be good if we give them the rubrics at the start of the activity. So we have also to remind them, for example, ani nga case nga problema, we have to remind them that there are certain approaches nga dili within their capacities, not within their capabilities. So remind them nga pwede nga ang solution will only be to minimize the pollution if not totally eliminate the pollution. So we encourage the students to find ways how to deal appropriately with this pollution problem. So in this way, we allow our students to investigate. We allow them to record their findings, to record their observations about pollution. We allow them to discover knowledge, how to solve the pollution problem. We allow them to think of ways, to think if kaniba nga solution is plausible within their capabilities. We allow them to try, to experiment ideated solution. We allowed them to reflect kung sakto ba to nga solution ilang implement, and we allowed them to be curious more about other forms of pollution. So, isn't it wonderful if kani nga mga activities mo ay atong ihatag sa atong mga estudyante? And finally, one of the teaching strategies that I want us to be reminded about is portfolio assignment. Nakita na ko kang Angel o kang Joshua being students of the DepEd schools nga naa sila mga portfolio. So this is just a reminder of how we are doing portfolio. First, in the portfolio is nganong gabuhat ta og portfolio. Why do we assign our students with portfolio? Is that when our students do portfolio, they tend to reflect on their weaknesses. Asa nga area sila weak sa ilang learning. Therefore, my dear friends, nindot nga makahatag ta og immediate feedback sa ilang mga activities so that the students can reflect asa sila naluya, asa ang ilang weakness, asa sila nasayop. And as they reflect, then they can correct their mistakes and improve their learnings. We also stress that in portfolio projects, we stress more on quality rather than on quantity. That is why dili kaayo ta mag-matter kung padaghanay, no? In portfolio assessment, dili ni padaghanay, but kadtong quality, kadtong asa nakatuon, kadtong mga formative nga activities ayaw na to ipa-appeal. No, kadtong mga activities, kadtong mga quizzes nga makita nimo nga naagyoy improvement ang bata after the formative feedback that you have provided them. And take note that it is very important that the students are reminded of the learning objectives of the activity. Aron nga kahibalo sila asa sila padulong ug nganong ilan nang ginabuhat. I remember an anecdote shared by Dr. Dinagsao. I don't know if it happened in her class or iya ra pud ning nadunggan, but nalingaw lang ko and I want to share it with you. Nagklase daw ang teacher. All the gestures with all the instructional materials available yang gigamit. So, ang mga estudyante, okay, naminaw, ana. And then towards the end, ingon ang teacher, okay class, get 1/2 sheet of paper, we will have a quiz. And as usual, ingon ang estudyante, 1/2, mag-quiz ta, ma'am. And then the student said, ma'am, nagsulti unta ka nga mag-quiz ta. Naminaw unta mi. You see, it's important that our students are informed of the learning objectives aron kahibalo sila unsa imong expect of them towards the end of the unit, the chapter, or the lesson. Before nimo i-implement ang portfolio, it's important that you stress to our students what are the expected contents that you are going to check from that portfolio. And please do not forget to give them the assessment or the rubrics by which we are going to check their work. And take note, my dear friends, the assessment should measure the learning objectives that you have set. And finally, one of the teaching strategies that I want to share with you is the social and emotional learning. I want us to go back to this. While we are interested to develop the critical thinking skills, the creativity, collaboration, and communication, importante ba nga even at this category of learning or this category of skills that we want our students develop, is it important that the emotional skills, the social skills of the students are also developed? Yes, dapat ma-develop gihapon, di ba? Appeal. How about here, life and career skills? Kinahanglan ba ang social and emotional skills of our students? Yes, of course, because we are dealing with people. How about in the information, media, and technology skills? Do we need the social and emotional skills? Yes, that is why it's important nga ang mga estudyante kabalo kung kanusa mo gamit og capital letters sa ilang texting. No? Because even in the way that we text, mag-matter gyud. No, imbes kay nag-text ka, palumanay ra ka ito nga pagka-text, pero sa pikas nga end, kay naka-capital letter, di ito tanan iyong pagka-text, ang pagbasa ka, pinabundak na kaayo. Nya na pag yung mga exclamation marks, no? So, you see, even in ICT, even in information, media, and technology skills, we also need the emotional and social skills. In other words, the social and emotional learning encompasses all the other competencies that we want to develop for our students in the complexity of the 21st century. Now, what are these domains of social and emotional learning? We have self-awareness, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, social awareness, and self-management. Now, according to Daniel Goleman, who is an author and a science journalist, if your emotional abilities are not in hand, if you don't have self-awareness, if you are not able to manage your distressing emotions, if you cannot have empathy and have effective relationship, then no matter how smart you are not going very far. You see how important the social and emotional learning skills are in the 21st century. Now, there are different classroom techniques that you might use in the social and emotional learning. You can do a research on this on Google. I'm just going to share them with you one by one. You can do visualization to release stress, noise isolation, name the emotion, ask the students to identify what they feel. Are they angry? Are they upset? Are they sad? Are they lonely? Are they happy? Let them name their emotions. Then let them write down what they feel. If it is a sad, a bad, a negative emotion, let the students rip up the paper and throw away the stress, literally and figuratively. Probably you can also include quote of the day, And then you can ask the students where he came from, or where the students came from. That is why she or he feels that emotion. And then you can also apply the starting positives technique, motivational moments, or group sharing. Now, in the workplace, kay kita no, I would be hypocrite if I say wala ni giagi sa atoa, no? Whether I was in Tablo National High School or dinhan ako sa USTP, every one of us went through these different emotional challenges, social and emotional challenges. And there are skills that we have to develop in our workplace. And I believe these are helpful as we deal with our students. Okay, among these are showing interest to others, and then focus on your body language. Speak clearly and speak in an acceptable tone. Remember, it is not only what you say, but how you say it that counts. And then work on your listening skills. Kausay ra ba no, kanang tempted ka ita nga mo istorya pud og appeal. But one of the beautiful traits that I learned from a Japanese classmate is the listening skills. Oh, observe and listen. And when that Japanese classmate will open her mouth, makita nimo ang wisdom. Madunggan nimo ang wisdom. And then, let's try to socialize in new settings. Of course, when you talk with another person, maintain eye contact. Be assertive but not aggressive. Choose effective communication channels. Kung kaya ra gyud nimo itawag, itawag kaysa sa i-text. Be flexible. Take on a challenge. Remain positive. Accept criticism. Be respectful. Be yourself. Have patience. Ditch the distraction. Show empathy. Put yourself in the shoes of others. Be more confident and learn how to small talk. Now, these are some social emotional skills that you might develop not only in your workplace as you deal with your colleague, but most especially with your students. Again, this is Dr. Sarah Namoko, your friend and your partner in your teaching practice. I would like to invite you to my YouTube channel where I will be posting video tutorials about research and pedagogy. Once again, this is Dr. Sarah Namoko. Thank you and bye-bye.